Okay, I'm right back with another video. It's 11:31 a.m. and I had to change of plans. My intention was to go out and pick up my calendar, and I think that was about it, really. Oh, I needed to pick up a couple of things, a few items, but I'm just like, that can wait. It can wait till tomorrow. It can wait till tomorrow, and I'm just trying to save on gas. I don't want to do a bunch of stuff, but I decided to stay in the house today. It is what it is, and I'm actually kind of glad that I'm in the house today. But I will go out maybe tomorrow, or what is today? What is today? Let me see. Today's the 3rd. Oh, it is Friday. Shoot. Okay. Well, maybe tomorrow. If not Sunday. But I'll just get around to it eventually. I don't have to get it. I'm just like, I know I need to get out of the house, but I also have to watch money and blah, blah, blah. You know the story, right? So anyway, bored today. Kind of very tired, but I'm not quite tired to, just like roll up and go to sleep. Not tired enough to do that right now, but, just, I was, up last night thinking about all of this and why it's so disturbing. And I know I've mentioned it before, but it is. It's like somebody, threatening your life. It's very serious to me, and I find it like, it is barbaric. It's barbaric that someone would do something like that. And, and selfish, too. It's selfish, and then to expect selfish because if somebody is in a particular field, and they're applying their time and their effort to it, obviously that's what they're supposed to be doing, or they were trained to do, or they want to continue doing, and for someone to, and so you gave this person a job, okay, but for somebody to say, well, this is all you're going to get, or this is how far you're going to go, or make certain stipulations to something that they never discussed with you personally, or you never took the initiative to talk to them about, and then expect you to want to comply with their stuff. Like, they want to force you to work their jobs and stuff. And I think about, like, the harsh treatment that I think, I think the lady over at, what was her name? Jo, over there at the manufacturer place. I think she was probably she was rude, okay? She was like really direct, rude, and she behaved inappropriately, but what can you expect, right? But, like when I first got over to this place where the psychoterrorist, the C train or whatever, I was thinking to myself, because, he seemed like, at first he was kind of rude and bitter and stuff, and kind of very direct, inappropriately direct, and and I just thought it was unnecessary. But he wasn't like flat out rude, but you can tell he was kind of implying things like, well, he was asking me about my experience with, I guess, the online version of QuickBooks, and then also he was talking about certain programs that he was, what was it? A program? I forgot the program. What we kept the payroll on or whatever. And so, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought that the system was rather easy. But I remember his first words, he was just really rude about it. Like, he was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and give you this wage. And he goes, and, but make sure you do it, because, I'll just get rid of you. Like, you don't say those sort of things. It's not motivating. It's not positive. It's not, it's not something that I would think that somebody would encourage. If you're teaching somebody to manage people, it's not something that I would ever say to anybody, because it's demoralizing. The whole situation was demoralizing. Mind you, that's not something I would have chosen, really. But still, it was, and the reason I would never talk about an employer, outright like this, so in such, disrespectful ways, like I have been, because I've always had this high ethic, okay? Like, for example, when you work for an employer, okay, who is respectful, who works within certain guidelines, who's polite and courteous and takes in consideration your rights, you know what I mean? And then also, they act in an ethical manner, okay? They act in an ethical manner. And plus, in the past, okay, I actually applied for those jobs wanting to work there, Okay, I didn't get sucked in because I got sucked into this last job. Okay, there's no, denying that one. I got sucked into it, right? So, you know, so, it was like he when I got on the job, he came to me with like an attitude, you know. And then I confronted him about me knowing about this human trafficking issue, and then he piped down. You know, from that time on, he was being pretty respectful. Okay, so but the thing is that they expect you to like, they want you to, they ignore your human rights. Okay, all of them. Okay, from everything, from they want to impose their religious views on you, their personal preferences, how you should wear your hair, whatever, these sort of things on you, right? For something you don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about it. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why human trafficking is a form of slavery. Okay, it is a form of modern slavery, because it's basically you are, exploiting a person's talents, their skills, their time, their life choices, their, everything, okay, that falls under that category of what this program is. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why it's illegal. Okay? And I would have never chosen something like that. And I'm not being disrespectful. You know what I mean? I had every right to disrespect this person. Every reason to disrespect this person. This man's trampling over my rights, and he has a little smirk on his face, and he thinks it's funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I've wasted years of my life. My goal was to make sure that I at least had some sort of nest egg when I got older. You know what I mean? I understood. Hey, it's a competitive job market, okay? We know this, all right? We know this. All right, so there's certain people who went to prestigious schools, okay? And then you have certain families that might be more, oh, that sun's bright. They might be, what do you call it, more with sort of, prestigious or whatever, big name families. You got competition. I fully understand that, okay? I never wanted to be thrown into stuff like that, okay? But when I came here, my goal was to get like a little job, maybe at a mom and pop shop, keep myself pretty low key, and just kind of move on. All this shit like fell onto me. You know what I mean? All of this stuff did, okay? And this gang stalking issue, okay? And so, I'm not being, that's what angers me so much. And then the fact that they get angry when you speak up for your rights. Okay? These people obviously are diehard racist. They're diehard racist. Okay? For them to not even consider the fact that I have a reason, a right, every right to be angry about. So maybe I understand. Some people might look at it this way. They might look at it this way. They might say, you know what? This is a predominantly white area. And let's face it, okay? White people among white people are going to open more doors. That's realistic. Okay? Because there's, hey, we feel comfortable with this person. Okay? And so I understand that. So maybe in their mind, they think, oh, we're just giving her a handout. We're helping her out. We're helping her out. Well, you're not helping me out. Not under those conditions. You know what I mean? And, the thing is that if you felt that way, that I was going to be treated this way in Bakersfield, well, then, you know what? I had made several attempts to leave Bakersfield. Okay? And every single last time they were squashed. Okay? Because I've seen a lot of black people, working jobs in Los Angeles. Okay? Los Angeles is a bigger melting pot, it's got more people, whatever. So it's like, these people just had this issue with me. They wanted to continually bully me. They had a fixation, with me. It's probably because they never experienced, these ignorant people never experienced what an African American person is. And they have their stereotypes, okay? And obviously I don't fit this idea of what they've seen on TV, so I'm a point of intrigue to them. On my end, I think that they are a point of intrigue to me, because what's funny about these people that I've heard conversations that they've had, and that they have this split mind too. They have dualistic thinking. All right, they'll talk about this people. There's a community here adjacent to this town called Oildale. Okay, and I guess Oildale was notorious for a high level of racism many years ago. Okay, And so these people were talking about how these two people, I'm referring to um, um, I forgot their names. Polly and Joel. Polly and Joel. Sorry, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mention their name. But still, okay. They were mentioning that, and the thing they were talking, and then I remember he mentioning people like inbreds and stuff like that. See, they laugh at stuff like this. Okay, they laugh at stuff like this. They point a finger over at people that they perceive to be like low class people, but yet they do the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't see this in yourself. You don't see that you're, but they don't see it that way. You know what I mean? Often, and also, you would think that someone would have better sense than to do those sort of things. To think that you have the right to tell a person how to wear their hair. And then, and it really, it could be racial. It's racial to a certain degree, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's this little twisty thing going on with them. Okay, and I think that in her mind, she feels like, oh, Maria's jealous of me because I got. Believe me, I'm not jealous of that at all. I'm not. When I think about it, I'm just like, whoa. That to me, what that says to me is that this man doesn't have any game. Like he's not hot. He can't go out and get just like anybody. I mean, I'm not impressed with it. I'm not, okay? And I'm not jealous. I don't really give a shit, okay? I don't. I would never want someone like that. Like, not, okay, I was willing to give the guy from high school a chance to get to know me, right? Because, I figured, why not? You know what I mean? And this, I understand the whole thing and stuff, but the whole thing is, it's like, and I know that his mom probably had something to do with this too. Out of the blue, like just out of the blue, right? Coming at me, full charge, head on, whatever. Coming at me, like I did something, I did shit, right? The Facebook is for communicating. It's for sending messages. It's for like, telling people, what you've been up to, contacting people, whatever. I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so, and it didn't go any further than the 2008. But my point is that you have these people who like to point errors out, and they behave in a way that is like completely barbaric and animalistic. The reason why there's laws for this sort. Oh, it's warm in here. First it was cold, and now I'm like, I keep bouncing back and forth. During this time of the year, I can't figure out what I am. Cold, hot, whatever. Anyway, but it's nice to be in the sunlight, though. Oh God, it feels good. It feels good, really good. Anyway, but when I think of these people, these barbaric people, and not just these people, okay, maybe these people had good intentions in the first place, okay, but I doubt it. Okay, but I will say maybe they did at one point. Like for example, the jobs that maybe I don't know if I secured them myself or whatever. I don't know the difference between the two, which is an inconvenience because the thing is they want to hoard your references. They want to hoard them, which is illegal. Okay, now first of all, I'd like to clear this up right now. I have every right to claim these people as a reference. Okay, but if I meaning that they covered the times that I worked, whatever. But if you're touchy about the accounting thing, then I'll do something other than accounting. But you can't sit here and tell people, well, you can't vouch for this person, you can't vouch for this. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. I was there. Okay? You feel, you want to strip people of their assets. It's my asset. I signed a contract. I signed my application, processed my paperwork. I have the contract with the employer. Okay? Not Polygram, not Esther Gooding, not Kelly Gardner, whatever. That's what it's for. Okay. Now, if you're concerned, you think that because you guys must really think that I can be something because just by the way that you act, and what makes me laugh about this whole issue is why is an office job something? I never thought that like for example, people who I saw an ad. I didn't respond to it, but it was for an engineering job because I always wanted. I think the engineers are interesting as well as architects and all that other stuff. So the thing is, like, now I can see people being competitive, like, over architect jobs. Like, you're like this shit, like the shit architect, and you, like, you're better than Frank Lloyd Wright. You just, like, whip out shit like this, like, just constantly, right? And then there's, like, this competition, right? But when I think of, like, the shit that goes on in the office, I'm like, I can't even understand how people can be so cutthroat over what I consider to be, it's a job and it's good, it's nice, but it's not like, you got to sit here and I keep thinking, am I dealing with ignorant people? Because I never looked at working in an office as, like, something to fucking get, like, cutthroat about. Never. Never. People who are, like, professionals, like, I mean, office professionals are office professionals, okay? But they're the people that work for the big shit. They work for the big shit. They're not the big shit. They're the people who work for the big shit. You know what I mean? And so when I see these people acting like absolute idiots over what I consider to be, like, something relatively normal. It's like what activism of care was saying. People are fighting for this slop. And they are. They're fighting for the slop. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I really did enjoy the kind of work I used to do. It was fun. It was stimulating. And that's what I like. I like to be stimulated. Like, my mind constantly thinks of new ideas, concepts, just constantly. I enjoy that sort of stuff. I enjoy that. So you might as well, try to do something that you halfway like. Because otherwise, it's just going to be like, and yeah, I like to work. I like to stay busy. I like, repetition, as well as some odd things thrown in there. I enjoy that, but I just sit there and I shake my head like, wow, this is ridiculous. And then going so far to, like, refer to, like, jobs as blessings. Yeah, jobs are helpful, okay? They are helpful. But they're not God-given. And this clearly illustrates that fact. When you have, like, a little closed network of people, a man-made network where certain people get blessed and other people, are less fortunate somehow. They're less fortunate, even though they could be, like, really good in their job, but somehow they're less fortunate. They're the less fortunate ones. But we, in this particular group, we are going to get, showered with abundant blessings and all kinds of gifts, from, God. He's just showering it all down. But that's not true, because the person who is part of this pyramid, or whatever you want to call it, organized crime, sorry, is the one who's acting like God. It's like your Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain thing, like I mentioned before, and hey, I remember I was working at Chatsworth, and there was that Lisa lady who was constantly, like, she was part of the perp chain, right? She was another one who was picking on me about the same thing, and I know where it comes from. I know who the originator was, okay? And she was just a mouthpiece for that stuff. But she was talking about, one time we were all, like, together in the office, and she said, oh, come on, you guys, play the game. And I kept thinking, game? Because I was like, I was so serious about my job. I was like, what do you mean game? It is a game. It's a game. I mean, it's not just the workplace that's a game. I'll tell you what else is a game. The game of, like, acting as if shit matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, people talk about, okay, like, for example, the guy from Activism of Care. He's got a master's degree. He's well-versed in psychology. He's extremely articulate. He seems like he's a well-rounded person. Okay? His ass is a target individual. Or, maybe he's not a big target individual, but I know he talked about getting cause stalked. He was stalked too. He had these issues. And same thing. You know what I mean? What it is that certain people get, scapegoated from their families. People who are talented, people who are different, get, this over excessive attention that they don't want, really. But, and it's ridiculous. and I highly resent it, especially because I don't want to be known for being associated with what I consider to be something that's appalling to me. It's appalling. It's not like something that I would want to be, associated with. I don't want to be associated with that. I mean, this is like, that's, no. It bothers me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, don't think that you have, this sort of behavior is wrong. Okay? It's wrong. And I'm referring to, like, putting people in jobs and creating problems and doing side things and expecting people to cater to your whims. Okay? Reputable employers, okay? They may not know all the laws, because I know most people, they can't think of all this stuff on the top of their heads, okay? But they at least know that you don't stir up shit just to be stirring up shit, okay? And there's a certain tone and presentation that you should have when you speak to people, Really, in order to be all-inclusive when you talk to people, there's a certain way of doing that. You know what I mean? Where you're not, like, showing favoritism to one person and you're trying to, like, exclude others. It's a way of talking in a well-rounded way, and you're informing people, and you're kind of looking at people, you're making sure that everyone's involved. It's a way of communication, that a lot of people lack. And with these people, see, and you're going to end up in shady places when you are a targeted individual. And what I mean by shady, sure, they sell their product, sure, they might keep their books clean, sure, they might do this, but their attitude is bad. Okay? Your attitude has to be bad. If you're going to hire a woman, okay, who was married to a man who's sleeping with his mother, and set it up and then have his mother direct and try to guide the girl, the woman, whatever. Duh! It's like, hello, employment mill. That's exactly what it is. It's an employment mill. And seriously, I don't believe in thrashing employers. Like, if the employer was ethical, respectful, then I will always speak with them in a positive way. There's certain things you might have had, like little riffs with people. You have that way. You have that. That's common, okay? But, like, like, for example, I mentioned one of my previous bosses one time. Okay, now he could have been a jerk behind my back, okay? But as far as the dialogue that we had and how we exchanged our conversations, those were always cordial, okay? And I can't say anything bad about him. You know what I mean? I can't say anything bad about him. But when you, like, you hire somebody based off of rumors, gossip, and then you're already siding with these people, you know what I mean? And first of all, how dare you fucking drag me in here when you know my ass is innocent? How fucking dare you drag me into a place, right? Try to interrogate me, stir me up, then play mind games with me. Oh, I'm going to wait to pay you till, like, whenever. Because, like, what? Because, like, you're trafficking me? Like, you gave me this job and I didn't ask for it? Come on, think about it, But they don't think about it. You know what I mean? Believe me, it's no fun for someone like me to be among people who are idiots. It's miserable, really. It's absolutely fucking horrible. I can't stand it. So what makes you think I want to associate with these people? I don't. I don't. I don't at all. You know what I mean? I don't have any connection with, that family. I mentioned it so many times. I can go back to, like, videos, like, from months ago saying this. But so what is it that makes these people cling to me? Oh, because they can obviously get away with doing this sort of stuff, because I will tell you that they do this. You know what I mean? But it's wrong. It's like if somebody says, do not bother me, do not get near me, I'm afraid of you, because your behavior, in my opinion, based on how I believe, okay, is something that should be feared and should be ostracized from society. It shouldn't be common. It shouldn't be accepted Okay, it's ignorance. You got a woman who's like from 16 years old, doesn't have any other. Hey, look, I wasn't the most educated person either. Okay, but education comes from different sources. You see what I'm saying? And I know good and well you don't treat people like that. You don't tell people how to live their life. You don't pick people's jobs and tell them how to live and how to act and how to behave when they don't have the say so. You don't choose their wage. You don't do this shit. You don't do it. And then when this person's like, dazed and confused after all this ridiculous abuse that shouldn't happen, the reason why it causes trauma is because it's illogical behavior in an environment that you don't expect this sort of shit to happen. That's why. That's why people have post-traumatic stress disorder. That's why people go into, all kinds of, whatever, mental issues or whatever. I'm a strong woman, obviously, okay? Okay, but I have my moments where I'm just like, fuck. I do. I have my moments. So, anyway. I just have to say that, because it's so ridiculous. I had to say it because it's like it gets to you after a while. It gets to you. Because I know I work hard. And I cared about my work. I worked hard. I was a dedicated employee. I cared about it. You know what I mean? And to see, I know and understand that people can just make up some bullshit religion cult sect or whatever you want to call it, and it's and then try to put pressure on you to be a part of it. There's certain things in my life that I want my life to have meaning. I do. I want my life to have meaning. That's not to say that their life doesn't. Ooh, this is getting too bright. It's not to say that their life doesn't have meaning, but ooh, Lordy be, that's really, really hot. That's not to say that their life doesn't have meaning. It's just that when I do things in my life, I want to know why I do it. When I believe in something, I want to know why I believe it. If I'm going to be around somebody, I want to be around the person I choose. It's about making choices and understanding why you make those choices. Now, some people will say, being a Christian, this is the whole underlying theme of the Bible. I'm going to tell you guys something, okay? What the underlying theme of the Bible is. The reason why we have this whole idea of Christianity, the reason why is because God the Father, is pretty angry. He is an angry force, okay? We talked about the Trinity, okay? The Trinity is God the Father, not two, just God the Father. And then we have Jesus, and then we have this Holy Spirit. Well, God the Father, the Godhead, okay, from the Old Testament, it's supposed to be very angry, vicious, vengeful, even known as being jealous, okay? Angry God, okay? So when Jesus came on the earth, okay, he's supposed to be this embodiment of this particular life force, this source of God energy, right? In human form. He had a pre-existence in heaven. He came here on this earth, right? He was supposed to show people how to behave in a manner so that we didn't offend this Godhead. It was like social. Think of him as a really interesting social reformer with a very special duty to show people how to live and not force it down their throat, but basically speak the word, live his life, set an example. That's his point. Okay? This is the whole message of it. And the purpose of it to be, the whole message of this whole fight, this whole purpose, this whole reason why, is to set a division, make a division. And he talks about the division. The division is, are you going to go this path or are you going to go that path? Now, there's a path where people do things that are criminal. They're not repentant. They abuse people. They do all kinds of horrible things, okay? Horrible, horrible things, okay? But see, Jesus is supposed to be the person who offers forgiveness, okay? That doesn't mean you take advantage of that, but we'll go back to that later. But the point is that he talks about false religion. He talks about people who are misguided, people who swear up and down that they are on the right path and they believe they do this, they do that, so they want to get recognition from God, for being what they might claim to be a Christian, but are they really? At the end of the day, does it really mean anything to them? Or is it just a free pass to get, a job? Okay? Because the Bible talks about how people are going to be tested into certain things like this. Let me tell you something. Sometimes I think that some forms, like of cult Christianity, is actually the mark of the beast. Like one of those groups of like the Babylon the Great thing, and deceiving people, leading them into what do you call it, destruction, and the deceiving, okay. That's the point of it. Are we going to be deceived, or are we going to use discernment? You know what I mean? If somebody says something, there's a lot of people who say things from the pulpit, okay? All right? They say it all the time. They're saying all kinds of stuff from the pulpit, okay? But is it really in accordance to what is in the Bible? And some people say, well, that's open to interpretation. Okay, so if it's open to interpretation, okay, you can decipher it how you want to, and leave it at that. Well, then you have no right to sit here and point the finger at me and tell me that my thinking is wrong. Because it's not wrong. Religion can be destructive, okay? And the whole point of it is that are we going to be on this side, or are we going to be on that side? Okay? And some people take advantage of the sacrifice that Jesus made. So they think that everything they can do, they can just be, commit all kinds of crimes. They don't have to be repentant. They don't have to feel anything. They can do all kinds of horrible things. And then on their deathbed, they can say like, oh, sorry, Jesus. And then they can close their eyes, and then they think that they might be worthy of going up there. Okay? What you do here on earth does matter. It does matter. And there are certain things called sins. Okay? So what I've seen that was played out in front of me was just like, and all my little training that I had as a kid, reading the Bible, reading stories like about, cults and stuff like that. It was easy for me to recognize this as bullshit. It's bullshit. It's always going to be bullshit. Okay? And you don't suck, drain, and force people into certain things. You set an example. You set an example by your life and your conduct and the way that you behave. Like I did that video a few years ago. I think about 2016. It was about how it was. I was talking about the scripture about how, like, sometimes, it's not really encouraged to marry non-believers, okay, according to the Bible, right? But if you are married to a non-believer, let's just say, for example, two people got married and one person became a so-called believer, okay? They became a believer, and the other one didn't. They were like, yeah, whatever, right? How do you encourage your partner to be a part of that? What does the Bible say? It said, by your behavior. Okay, you can look at certain people and you can say, they got their shit together. They got their shit together. Okay? If you are lying, backstabbing, blacklisting, backstabbing, gossiping, doing all the fucking things that fall under that category of what they call sins of the Bible, in order to conduct your so-called Christian operation, I want you to think about that. Think about it real hard. Because I can see for what it is, okay? That's all I'm going to say right on that one. I'm not trying to be unreasonable, because I understand people have their views, okay? But when you stand in my way, okay, and start, putting stipulations and trying to tell me how I'm supposed to see God and trying to use force onto it, and then you trying to, justify your selfish motives, and then trying to act like it's something that God's approving. People throw religion in all the time when they want to commit all kinds of crimes, okay? It's historical. It's been happening throughout history. All the time. Okay? It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. Okay? Don't you ever throw that shit in my face again. Ever. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. And I'll be back with another one later. Take care. Bye-bye.